Howdy, everybody. How you doing? I am gonna check a couple of things, and then I am going to get going. Because especially if I'm on by myself, I will not be before you long. I am really intrigued by some things that are happening. And I think this week has just been interesting all by itself. I mean, all my news timelines have been extremely interesting stories. And some of them I'm going to try to see if I can find them so that you can see exactly what it is that I am talking about. But there's just been so much happening this week. We have had award shows, we've had weird news, we've had news that you kind of have to, you know, figure out how you feel about it. There's just been all kinds of things going on. There's been an extreme amount of bad news and a little weird mix of interesting news, and it's just been something. So I want to talk about a few things, and then I'm gonna go to bed because it's late. But it's been a wonderful day. Um, we had, for those of you who know, we've been dealing with a situation with my mom. Hey, Prophetess Sonia. We've been dealing with a situation with my mother, and it's there's been so much of a blessing in what the enemy intended to be terrible. It's been such a blessing. I cannot wait until we get the opportunity for her to share her story. I don't want to share her story, but just know I'm rejoicing over it in the biggest way. And today was the first time since January that she was blessed to be able to enjoy a meal with her mom. And I was just over the moon. It was such a beautiful day. Um, we didn't get a lot accomplished that we needed to get accomplished, but the things that we did get accomplished, whoo, child! I am like I said, it was a beautiful day. So we will be. I will. I just need to share this a couple places, and then we gonna get rolling because it's been so good. Yes, prophetess. It's definitely been a praise God kind of day. Um, my niece hadn't seen my mom. The last time my niece saw my mom, she was in a very different state medically, mentally, emotionally, all of that. And for her to get an opportunity today to be able to have the interaction that they had, it was wonderful. So we had a really good day. Um, they made me laugh so much, but it's been a really uh, interesting, wacky day. But one of the things that I wanted to hold up, it didn't do what it was supposed to do. Um, so hold on one second. I got one more move I need to make, and then we can get going. I know. I should have been better prepared to get this done, but I just got home. It's been a good day. Leave me alone. But no, once we transition over from just doing lives to podcast format, we'll definitely get better with the time setups and all of that. For now, unfortunately, um, this check-in is the victim of my schedule. So, but like I said, it's been a really really cool day for really good day for us. I pray that your day has been an adventure, that it's been good, but that you had some adventures as well today. Um, I picked up some interesting reading. I was at Walmart and a gentleman dropped off a pamphlet that said Allah didn't have any sons. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for the info. But we'll, okay. So, one of the big news stories today, and Prophet Sonia is going to join us for a bit here. But let me go ahead and bring her on and get this set up here.
Oh,
Yeah, one of oh, I'm sorry.
okay,
You
ready.
were let
It's
me
good.
look. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Look, I'll throw you in here. But yeah, it's been a really it's been a fun day. I had fun with my mommy today. And so, of course, I haven't, I've been able to catch up on some of the news stories that were out there. Um, we were, touched at the heart level regarding the situation in Florida with the families in Surfside that were affected by the collapse of the building. Really hurt in my heart about the babies that they found today, a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old. And it was really really heartbreaking, really sad, situation. But um, and I try to be wise in how I talk about the situation, but we can't take life for granted.
Nope.
Those people were living their lives. My brother talked
Yep.
about it in a teaching that he did yesterday. I think it was either yesterday or the day before. But these people were just living their lives,
Mm-hmm.
and devastation hit. And normally I kind of save my churchy closing for the end, but I'm gonna do this just in case you don't get to the end, because we're gonna get. My intention is to cover some ratchet topics tonight. So, so let me put
I'm
the
gonna
Lord
hang
out
with you as
front.
long as I can, but it probably ain't gonna be that long tonight.
Amen. I understand. But as I was explaining, once we transition over to being a podcast, the timing will be a little different. But now it's kind of subject to my schedule, and right now it's kind of weird. But those people were just living their lives, having dinner, having lunch, chit chatting with their friends, hanging with their, with their significant others, spouses, taking a nap. There was one story of a couple that they were an older couple, but they were they found them together. They were just in their bed, laying down, doing what people do. And in a moment, life changes very drastically. And I think I've shared a few times, that was the experience of the thing that we were dealing with in our family. And it is raining again here tonight, so my signal is kind of weird. I apologize if you're seeing a delay. But saying all of that to say, being that, good evening, bro. Um,
What's up, brother?
but being that that is the case, that things can happen in a moment. It is important that you have every day made a decision on what you want to do with your eternity. Because we only get so many years here, but eternity is eternity. And it is important that we have our matters straight. First with the Lord.
Yep.
You need to know where you're going to spend your eternity. You're going to spend it somewhere.
Yep.
And if you have not made the decision for Yeshua, if you have not made Jesus Lord of your life, um, keep living. Do the best you can, and keep on living. Lately, my heart has really been turned towards people who have, out of man's knowledge and what they believe to be common sense sounds good, makes sense. I understand this better decisions about their eternity. Don't let your mind trick you. You're in a place where you're questioning your faith and you're questioning what you know and what you believe. Pray and ask the Lord to show him who he is. He's faithful and he'll do it. He'll do it. Don't sit out there with questions because man got some answers for you. Man is going to tell you you evolved from that monkey. Man is going to tell you it was just an accident that all of all the atoms and particles just happened to fall into place. There was this explosion and poof, here we are. And it's 2021 and all of this just happened to happen. Man's going to tell you there's a many ways for you to get to God. Man is going to, you're going to find some people that will tell you some stuff. This last week, Pastor Damon Richardson, week before last, Pastor Damon Richardson did a debate with a young man who, I don't know if he's an atheist. I don't know if that's the right thing to call him, but he simply does not believe that the crucifixion and the battle between good and evil, where Christ is crucified, he believes that all that persecution and everything that happened with Christ happened in the heavens, that Jesus never actually lived on the earth. Your mind will tell you a whole bunch of things. Logic will tell you a whole bunch of things. And, there are people saying things. Well, if Jesus existed, why didn't he write any of the books of the Bible? There's just so different things that people will say. And my answer is Jesus didn't come to write books. Jesus came to redeem the lost. He came for our salvation, as my brother talked about, not saved from hell, saved from wrath, the wrath to come. It's coming. And we've got to have our souls secured. So if you've got questions, you're struggling in your faith, or you've never had any kind of faith of your own, I encourage you, make a connection, contact one of us, drop in the inbox, my personal one or the one here for the group, for the page, either one. But I would be remiss to spend 30 minutes on here chit-chatting about the stuff that happened in the news and in the world. And I didn't give the biggest piece of news, which is you need a savior. We need a savior. And that's why Jesus came. He came for the remission of our sins. He came to be the payment. You can't do it yourself. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. None of us is good enough, smart enough, appropriate enough. We're all sinners. And were it not for the shed blood of Christ, his death, burial, and resurrection, we will all be lost. So before I get into any jokey, funny, that's what I need to make sure that I share with you. Minister Sonia, you got anything to share on the topic?
I mean, my sister has really said it all. I mean, you got to know where you're going. We don't live forever. Your soul has to go somewhere, and you got to make a choice. People say, well, God's not going to send me help. No, God's not going to. It's a choice that you make. You make a choice. You make a choice. You make a choice. That's the same as me making a choice. When I decided, I didn't, I wasn't really all the way in the church. And so, I got pregnant with Melanie. I made a choice. We all know how you get pregnant. I made a choice. Same thing with my son. I made a choice. Nobody forced me. God didn't force me. I made a choice. So just like I made a choice to do those things, and I'm not glorifying that, but I'm making a point. I made a choice. It's the same thing with me making a choice about my soul. I make a choice. God doesn't stand there saying, you got to do this, you got to do. No, he gives me free will. So I make a choice. I make a choice. And there are consequences to every choice that you make. And I would hate for you not to make a choice, which is actually making a choice. But I would hate for you to make a choice that I don't believe that, or that I got time, and then time is up for you. And you gonna be like the rich man. Can you sin? No, can't sin nobody. You made a choice. So there you are. And that choice is not good, because whether people are talking about it or preaching about it, hell is real. And God doesn't want people to go to hell, but he's not going to force you. He's not going to force you to take eternal life. It's a choice that you literally have to make. Just like you make choices about everything else. It's a choice. Like tomorrow, you gonna make a choice whether or not you gonna get up when the Lord allows you to wake up. If the Lord allows you to wake up, you're going to make a choice about something when you get up, whether it's going to work, whether it's going to get something to eat at lunch. You're going to make choices all day long. Nobody forces you throughout the day. You make those choices on your own. Same thing with salvation. It's a choice. God gives you a choice. And I would hate for you to miss out because you think you have time. Because none of those people that were in that condo had no idea that that building was going to fall, and some of them may or may not make it out. They didn't know that. Like she said, they were going about their lives doing what they do, and the building fell. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We don't have the time that we think that we have. Playing church, that's over. So if you play in church, I suggest you stop and take a real look at what's my life looking like? What's my eternity going to be? Just like even with COVID, there's this new variant that has come. And from what I'm hearing on the news, from what I'm hearing that the CDC is saying, it is one of those things of you're better off being vaccinated than not. But that again, that's a choice that we all make, to do it or to not do it. Some people can't because their health, they just really can't. But again, the ones that are healthy and you just not doing it because I don't know. You what is it? What was it? Well, if you take it, you don't have faith. Okay, well, I don't understand that logic. I really don't. I'm not even going to try to understand that logic, because my faith is not in the vaccine. My faith is in the man up above. My faith is in God. But God put doctors on the earth for a reason. He don't just not have them here for nothing. He puts them on the earth for a reason. So again, I'm saying all these things, I'm naming all these things because they're current. These are things that we have right now. In all that I'm saying, what is there? There is a choice for you to make. It's the same thing that my sister said. Everything that I've said, there's a choice to be made. It's the same thing for your soul. And that's what is so, I won't say funny, but it's interesting. We have all these other things that we have choices for, but when it comes to our soul, we act like we don't have a choice in it. We act like if God is making us. No, it's a choice. It's a choice. And that is so interesting to me, that everything else that we do in our lives, we can say, I have a choice to do this, I have a choice to do that, I have a choice to do this, and I have a choice to do that. But when it comes down to the eternity of your soul, well, I don't have a choice to do that. If God gonna send me to hell, there is a choice. That's a cop out, in my opinion. That's a cop out. That's an easy way out. Is to say that God gives me a choice. He gives me a choice. And I choose life. I choose eternal life. Because I'm telling you, I have hot flashes, so I can't be dealing with no heat. And no, I ain't gonna be able to do that one. Sorry. I ain't gonna be able to do it. I'm making light right there, but I'm being for real. Mm-mm. No. I
Yeah.
have a choice.
And there's a bad part. Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part is I think a lot of times people will see that part and not realize the entirely terrible part is eternal separation. Specifically, before we move, just I feel led to just make the appeal to know they have a calling on their lives. They believe calling on their lives. You know you have a calling on your life. Decision
Come on.
not
And
follow
next
it.
time.
You're exhausted. Whether it was church hurt, whether it was let's see, whether it was church hurt, whether it was just exhaustion with church life, whatever the situation was, um, it's time. It's time. You've had your free time. You've had your moment to find yourself. You've had your moment to do what it is that you wanted to do. But now it's time. So that's all I have to say about that. It's time, and you know it. Well, so I didn't come to say that, but to be obedient to what I believe I'm talking about. Um, for you, my friend, it's time. That's all I got on that. Is it's time.
But that what the man said in house
It's
party.
time for you. Call that is on your life. It's time. I know quite a few cities. If you need help finding a place to call home, if you need help finding whatever it is, but very specifically, I mean, if you turn it off now, that's fine. But just know that not for you, my friend. It's time.
Yeah, because the man said in the house
With
party
that
movie,
said, we
time
are
waits
going
for no
to
man.
go ahead and some topics. It really doesn't. And there's that I know will take the time to watch this video who know that it's time. You've been graced to walk on the outside long enough. And it's time to get about the Father's business because, as our sister said, you don't have the time you think you have. And here's the worst part: is what if you do have all the time you think you have and you waste it doing nothing for the Lord? Know that that's the calling on your life. I would rather not have to only be able to bring to Him. That's it. That you hear. Um, I want to move, but this is time. So that is the making an appeal to those who know church, for calling that no is on their life. This isn't the one that's confused and ain't sure. This is those that know there's a calling on their life, and are simply making a decision to continue to play around with it. If there's anything that you want to add, the scripture is literally perfect. What you posted, in the day that you hear your ear's voice, harden not the heart. I'm not the first time you've heard it. And this ain't the first time you've heard it today. It's still today.
Mm-hmm.
So, just saying, it's time, people. Brother Demetrius, if you would like to share, feel free. Because I don't the Lord at the end. I'm going to encourage at the end, but I don't want to put him at the end today.
Greetings, everyone. But the plea that went out is suitable. That's why I just added what I said on the screen in the comments. And it'll come up as somebody's waiting on the decision, then poop, that come in upon us as they're watching the video. Because like has already been said, just the variety of things all those people in that apartment could have been doing. At all the different apartments. I mean, you said it. The list of things, just think about general and different apartments, what everybody was doing at the moment. Taking a bath, eating dinner, talking with a loved one, laying across the bed, on the phone, scrolling, the list goes on. So the Bible said life is but a vapor. And that's why in the day that you hear his voice, that's why you got to respond in the day when you hear it, when you feel the pull, respond. You might not get it. We're not here to say that you're going to get it right overnight. You can come out overnight, but once you come in, we on that road now, and that's what he wants us. He wants us on the road. A lot of people not even on the road, but he wants us on that road. And, hearing his voice and responding properly to the call, saying, "Yes, Lord, it is me, standing in the need of prayer, standing in the need of a savior. Yes, I was born in sin, like everybody else. And you made a way out. You say the wages of sin is death, but you made a way for me to escape that. Because even in natural death, you gave the promise of a resurrection, so that death will be swallowed up in victory. And I want that. I want that. I mourn when people die. I mourn when I lose a loved one. So I don't want to lose forever. If there's an opportunity that I can enter into life, then you provided that through Christ Jesus. So I want that. And I'm going to choose you. That's what you need to make the same decision to do too. Choose life. Choose life. Deuteronomy 30:19. Let me close this. Deuteronomy 30:19 says this. It says, I set before you life and death. But choose life that you and your seed may live. The choice is yours, Captain Planet. The choice is yours. He gave us free will. Yes, you can deny it. But why deny so great a salvation? Why deny so great a salvation? That's it.
Amen. Amen. I believe we have dined sufficiently on that point. And I thank the Lord for the both of you flowing with spirit. But as I said, we've got some funny stuff we want to talk about, and I just did not want to waste an opportunity that I believe we're going to have to reach someone. But the news today, I was gonna try to come home and go to sleep, but I was on the phone having a discussion with my sister, and of course the topic of the release of Mr. Bill Cosby came up. And what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? because I'll share that initially when I saw him on the screen, I didn't read the story. I glanced up at my mom's TV and I saw that he was on, and I was like, "Oh dear Lord, something happened to Bill." I was like, "Oh Lord, something happened to Bill, Father. What done gone down?" Only to find that it was just the sense vacated. So, what were your thoughts? What are your thoughts thus far?
I don't know, man. It's crazy. For me, because I don't know guilt or innocence. I didn't really follow the case. The part I did follow, if he did what he did, if there was something put into the drinks and all that there where a woman was incapacitated, then yeah, it is what it is. But it's just so crazy for me, to be honest, that we get so much injustice in the system that when it happens for a black
Come
person,
on.
it's just, because we get so much injustice that you have no choice but to rejoice, you know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, think about all the other people in higher positions at the time in recent years, last couple, who had similar charges, and they wasn't tarred and feathered in the same way. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing left but like, yes, you know what I'm saying? Now he better not do it no more. He can't. Well, he's at the age where he ain't gonna do it no more. But you know what I'm saying? As far as the case, if he did it, then he's guilty. He's guilty. But at the same time, if they vacated it, yeah, man. Because even when he went up for parole, just because he didn't take some class, that's the reason why y'all denied him. Yeah, I ain't feeling that. But yeah. So that's my thing. If you we want to be biased, but we get so much injustice, you just have to kind of count it as a victory. Like, okay, well, woo.
I thought about Dick Gregory. That's where my mind went. My mind went immediately to the video that Tracy had shared with me on YouTube, and I watched both part 1 and part 2, and I immediately went to that video and I was like, yeah, y'all gonna let him out now. Why? Because now he can't buy the network. You were not going to allow a black man to own a network. You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of the scene that they did in Malcolm X, and Malcolm goes to the hospital to see about one of the Muslim brothers that they have just beat down.
Mm-hmm.
And the brothers walk. I don't care. I replay that scene so much it probably don't warp. But what it just showed me the dedication and the unity and the solitude. And all he did was this, they stopped, and then he did this and he did like that. And all you could hear was that man say, that's too much power for one man to have. And I thought about those two things. I said, y'all wasn't gonna let him have that much power. He could do whatever else he wanted to do, but he stepped outside of the boundary that you have for us, the limitation that you put on us. And because he was going outside of that, because when I really started tracking back after watching the video, I was like, that was during the same week he was in negotiations and it was getting close to being finalized when all of this kicked off. And I was like, man, if you really sit down and do the research that Dick Gregory did, I was like, wow. And then you kept him in all of this turmoil till you made sure that you destroyed his stuff, destroyed his life, career, whatever you wanted to do. So now, yeah, you're not happy about what happened, but he can't get NBC. Why? Because we put a stop to that. So that's what I thought about, was those two things right there. I was like, wow. I was like,
Yeah. It was really, once I had some time to kind of process things, I didn't go there. It seemed real OJ to me. And let me explain. OJ, I believe, would have gone to prison had there not been tampering with evidence. And I believe OJ had something to do with those murders. I don't know what, but
He
in my
protected his
opinion,
son. I know that.
the Lord said, and I ain't putting that on the phone. Just me. A lifetime
I
of
think he did.
experience amongst Negroes.
I think he know who did it. I think he helped cover
I'm
it
not a
up.
criminal, but
I
I'm not
think
a
he helped protect.
right. I'm
I
not
do.
a criminal.
I think he helped protect the person. He helped cover it up. He helped.
Oh, I
cover it
definitely
up.
believe. I definitely believe he covered for his son. I really
Oh
do
yeah.
believe that.
Oh yeah. He helped cover that thing
I
up.
could. But the connection to the Cosby story is they showed their hand. And they showed their hand in such a way that his money was able to counteract.
And
With
that's
the
the other
evidence
thing, too.
good into my hand.
And that's the other thing. That's the other thing. You right. That's the other thing. People keep thinking he ain't got no money. Now, bro got money still. And I agree with you,
Yeah.
Tracy.
And
His
so,
money. Woo.
yeah. It's the Mike it's the Mike Tyson conviction when Mike went to prison for rape or sexual assault with a young lady.
Yep.
I don't believe that case was correct.
Nope.
No.
But do I think Mike Tyson probably did some inappropriate things to some other folks? Perhaps it's possible.
It's possible.
But because of you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so what I believe, my opinion about this situation with Bill is Bill probably most of what I heard of the allegations, and I didn't listen to a whole lot of them, but most of what I heard of the allegations, I believe. But I believe that those attorneys trying to make sure that they got him violated a procedure, and Bill had enough money to say, what you're not going to do is get away with some foolishness. What you're not going to do is put me in jail on a technicality. Here's what you're not going to do.
That's what you're not going to do.
And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to get and we're going to get the opportunity to now call me innocent, because those people to spend the time finding out why I'm out, they just going to see I'm out. And that's all I care about. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I have mixed feelings because I don't know. I don't have any, insight on if the man was guilty or not. But because of experiences in my life, I tend to fall on the side of believing victims until they prove we shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
so many times it does happen. Go ahead.
No, I forgot you said it's the delay. So it's the delay coming to me. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I mean that's my thing. He admitted to the stuff. That's where I didn't understand the foolishness of the prosecuting attorneys. He made a deal with somebody else and they testified about it. That in the civil suit, if he admitted what he did, which he did, then there was no prosecution. So I always had a thing with the person that they chose. And I know why they did, because hers was the only one that was up, I guess wasn't up to expire yet. So I got why they chose her. But my thing is, girl, he paying you. He paid you money in a civil suit. This was a part of that. How you just overlook the fact of what was agreed to in the civil suit? How do you just get beyond that point? Because you think just because he's a black actor, he don't have money and his money is not as good as Harvey Weinstein's money, and that it ain't gonna talk the same. Baby, it's gonna talk the same. Even though you stripped him of all the other stuff from all the universities and all that stuff, his money is still gonna talk the same way as Harvey Weinstein. Because I ain't heard nothing that y'all did to Harvey. Harvey had heart issues and you took him to the hospital. I don't know. Did you let him go home after that?
No, Harvey's in the
You know,
penitentiary. Where
did he finally go? I mean, I didn't hear no more. So I thought, maybe he was out somewhere, chilling. But I guess because y'all didn't keep that going like you kept it going for the black man. You kept that one going, but you didn't hardly keep this one going at all. What is that? But yet we don't have separate justice system. That's what y'all keep trying to make us believe, that we not separate in the justice. We equal all the way around. No, we not. I didn't hear that much about Harvey at all. And that man straight up was a pedophile. But I didn't hear that much about that. But this one over here, I heard a lot about that.
Does Bill's conviction prove another case? Is we're not just dealing with issues of race, but we're also dealing with issues of class.
Yep.
Because it doesn't have any. Bill doesn't have attorneys. Because if they've done this with him, there's got to be other cases where, I think we all probably know at least one person where there was some chicanery involved in what happened with them.
Yeah.
But lack of resources. I got to take this plea. I just watched this really great movie and it didn't get a lot of publicity. I don't know why. And I don't wonder why. It was because of the subject matter. But it was Denzel Washington's movie. What was the name of the movie? Oh, this so interesting because I love Denzel. I can never think of the name of his movies.
Denzel had a movie?
Israel P. something or the other.
I done missed a Denzel movie. I love Denzel. How I miss a Denzel movie?
Roman J. Israel.
Okay, Roman J. Israel.
It's called Roman J. Israel.
Okay. Yeah, I watched it.
I didn't hear anything about that.
It was so good. And one of the he's one of he's an attorney who he plays the role of an attorney who he's a part of a law firm, but his real passion is justice issues.
I did see that. That was a good movie. Okay.
Yeah, and one of the is how people without resources end up having pleas. Their confession is I'm innocent. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. But their confession is I'm innocent. But the case is so stacked against them, they can't risk going to court because a jury. There's no way they're going to get a fair trial with this jury. Or the story is so weird. I'm one of those people. When stuff happens to me, it's like so weird. It's like I'm glad I don't have to go to court with this because it sounds like a lie. It just sounds crazy enough that is not believable, and you're afraid to take a chance with the jury. And so I think in situations like this, we have to make sure we don't get so trapped in race that we also don't miss that there's a class component as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's right. That's absolutely right. There is a class component on that. Absolutely, a class component on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're right. It took them forever to put Harvey in jail. It took forever.
Ever. I'm like, is he ever gonna go to jail?
Yeah, because I remember. I'm trying to remember. He got approval to go to like a treatment or a rehab or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it
Yeah.
was just all kinds of craziness that his money afforded him. It wasn't just his race. His money afforded him literally an opportunity to get away.
Yep.
And you look at like some of the people involved in the Capitol. Yeah. You look at some of the people involved in the Capitol insurrection, like getting approval to go to Mexico for a trip. And for a while,
where they do that
Kyle Rodenhouse, whatever that young man's name is, the little 17-year-old boy from Illinois, who killed people and was like given permission to travel for a trip. I'm like, are you serious?
I was like, so we kill people and we get to take a vacation.
Look, cousin on papers who can't travel. She did her time. She just got a total line. And she can't travel.
Yeah.
How does dude that's waiting on a trial go to Mexico?
Right.
That blew my mind too. I'm like, so we kill people, and then we can go on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm like, where they do that at? Oh, in America. That's where they do that at. Okay.
But that's why they tied so closely to race. I think that's a good point that we normally I'm gonna call it, I guess it's like a gray area, because I'm gonna call it a gray area, because there are some in the class that don't happen to be Caucasian who can't do the thing. They money don't work the same.
Nope.
Even though they up there. And that's why we are, I guess, always so closely tied to race, and class is not mentioned, because in some circles, excuse me, even like in Bill Cosby, because we know you got money, we won't let it work the way it could work if you was, such and such.
Right.
And so I think, that is something that we do need to keep in mind, because all that we have been through, like I say, for me, I know that's why Black people were rejoicing. Now I noticed that I seen a post about the original Aunt Viv responded to something Felicia Rashad did. I didn't see the Felicia Rashad comment, because we got family here, so we just been like busy with family, so I didn't been really But Felicia Rashad said something, and the original Aunt Viv, the basis basically saying, okay, you guilty. She still see a guilty person. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say it's interesting, because if you guilty, you guilty. But with so much injustice, to see him get out, especially after the reason why they denied parole, and by being in prison. Yeah, you can be the model prisoner, but if you are not willing to say that you did your crime, that can be the very reason that you don't get out. Like, especially, and it's difficult, because there's some people who are quote unquote innocent, and you can find some of these stories online. But the reason they was come to deny parole is because they wouldn't say that they were guilty. Now, not saying Bill, but I'm just saying the reason why a lot of the Black people are rejoicing the fact that he got out, and that the system, whatever happened. Because when the system works for us, it is a cause of celebration. Because normally it works against us. So that's why I say it throw you in a crazy place. I don't know, that I'm working this thing out, me myself, because this white Christian, Black Christian. But it's really trying not to be biased, boy. This thing is real tricky. So the fact that we mentioned classism, which to a lot of people is racism.
Yeah,
have and have not.
Yes,
I mean,
which is still racism. It's like I said, it's tricky. Trying to maneuver through this water, but it's some crazy times.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's so crazy when I had to take a moment to go over and look at what does a vacated sentence mean. And when I'm reading it, I'm like, you know what, Lord, grace and mercy is a beautiful thing, because it's really a good example of grace and mercy, potentially, because if you a vacated sentence means it's going to be as if none of it ever happened.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what it means.
Which is good on one side.
Yeah.
But what it means is they can go back and try. It's not a double jeopardy type situation.
No, they cannot. No, they cannot. They talked about that tonight on the news. The judge put in the order he cannot be retried. The judge put it in the order, because I heard it on the news tonight, because I was thinking it. I said, well, they can still go back. And the commentary on the local news here said that the judges put in the order that he cannot be retried. So that has been taken away. I'm gonna research it to make sure, but that is what I heard her say, that the judge put in there that he cannot be retried for that. And that takes that away. I was like, they'll go back and find a way to retry him for this again, even though it's been vacated. But according to what the local news girl said that they read in the document, was that the judge had put in there that he could not be retried. And I said, well, if that's the truth, I said, God, you don't work the miracle out here. I said, you vacated it and they can't retry him for that. And the basis of it is what you said when we first started talking. They dug into it and discovered that he had already admitted to all that stuff in the civil suit. That was the reason why that first prosecuting attorney, back whenever it happened, when the girl sued him or whatever it was, that's the reason why he made the promise of never trying him, because he said he needed to admit all of it, and he did. He admitted all that he did. So and I gathered that it was not just for her, but I guess for other people that he had did, as well. And that was supposed to be the end of that.
So he was never supposed to be. So technically, he was never supposed to be prosecuted in the first place.
Never. That's what got them. It's what Tracy said. That's what got them in trouble. It's exactly what Tracy said.
It's never. It was totally an OJ situation. They did things they didn't have to do.
Yep.
I believe the case in and of itself probably had enough to convince people, but when they made the decision to use the testimony from the civil suit, when there was an arraignment made, that's why I'm saying it's not there. There's an international race and class on this, because they don't make them kind of agreements for me. Even you do have right not to incriminate yourself, is basically what it was they violated his Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate himself. When they took the testimony from the civil suit and used it in the criminal suit, criminal case, because there was an agreement that they wouldn't use the information to prosecute him.
And that prosecutor testified to that. And they did it anyway.
And so that's why, and so that's why it's complicated for me. Simply because, I love that the darkness in the system is exposed, but that man really drugged them women and took advantage of them. At least that particular one. And
So
so it's kind of yeah, it's that weird space in there, which is okay. As a believer, my heart goes out to this person who was violated, and by the same token, yeah, I love that the system worked out for me. Yeah, I think it's a good picture of how grace and mercy can work in the life of a person, and it's definitely something I can use, but on just a real level. If that's my relative, if that's someone close to me, him, I'm excited.
yeah,
If that's someone, if I'm the victim,
I'm not
yeah,
excited.
if I'm the victim, but that's my daughter, that's my son.
yeah.
I don't
Right,
care nothing
Brady.
about a plot by the man.
Right,
Yeah,
Brady. That's right. Yep.
And
yeah. I'm totally yeah.
that was the question I was preparing to ask. I didn't know how far we want to go on it, but I want to ask. So get to another topic. Mike, Bill, R. Kelly, of course. Anybody black in this situation. Does do we give them? Do we well not give them a pass? I mean, well, I'm gonna say give a pass and or overlook their faults, not because they're black, but do we overlook or give them a pass in the justice system because of how crooked the justice system is? I want to make sure I'm
Oh,
asking you right, because when like I said, when we see something like this, like you say, we as being black and seeing how often this justice system don't bring justice, even for us, like when we are the victims, horrible. Not in the way
yes.
that when they're the victims, oh my goodness. Um but how do we find the proper place? Because that's with all this stuff, that's what I'm dealing with. How do we find a proper place? Because the injustice of the justice system sometimes cause us to overlook or give a pass to those of color when incidents happen.
I don't know who I heard say this, but I'm just gonna say it. All I'm asking for is that you're fair with my people, just like you are with everybody else. I want the same kind of justice that you gave Ruth Dillon when you took him to go get something to eat after he killed the people in the church basement. I want the same kind of justice that you gave the young man that shot the people, went back home to Illinois, and now he able to go on vacation to Mexico. I want justice to be the same for everybody, no matter what you look like, no matter your color. There's one justice system. So you keep saying, then I need it to be one. I don't need it to be because I'm this color. Well, I'm going to do you this way. But because you're that color or that class, I'm going to do you that way. I want it even across the board. I don't want somebody else's money and class to get them out of things. And then somebody like me that don't have money in class, then I'm just like my brother said, I'm just screwed. I'm just out because I don't have the money in class. I want the same kind of justice, and it is like Tracy said, it's hard not to rejoice because for once in a million chances, somebody looked and saw, well, okay, you didn't do this right. It's just like Brady said, you made a mistake. Just like we said about the heaven and hell, you made a choice. And the choice that you made has now come back to get you. You made a choice, and now the consequences are he can't be retried for it, and it's been vacated because of the choice you made to do more than you had to do. And you can't tell me as a prosecutor that they didn't know that. You can't tell me as a prosecutor that they didn't know that that stuff was in there. Same with R. Kelly. You can't get, I'm not saying give him the pass, but I'm saying you need to be fair all the way around the board. You got to be fair all the way around the board. Money should not have anything to do with it. I know that it does, but it should not. Fair to, that's my take on it. It should be fair. I feel it should be fair. And I feel that that is what I'm asking, that justice be, it should not be color that does justice. Justice should be, if I do the crime and the law book says is this for me to do that time, then that's what I do.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do what I do and provoke discourse. Is never gonna happen because America loves money.
Yep. You right.
Because what's the talk, of course, came.
Yeah.
About the Emmett Till accuser.
Yep.
Of course, that came up in the Bill Cosby case with the witness that it was bringing forth.
Yep.
Old testimonies. Of course, that came up, and they haven't charged her yet. So it comes up, and that's why I mentioned, because, like we said about Harvey, everybody's like, "Yeah, Harvey's there. He needs to be tarred and feathered. He needs to be there." But then it'll come to Kells. They be like, "Man," well, some people anyway. Some people like, "Man, them girls' mama sent them on Kells, knowing he was like that, You know what I'm saying? So, and it's a Boondock episode dedicated to that, and that's why I'm saying, because
no,
asking the question. That's why I'm asking the question for, like, Black America, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Because the way we talking about injustice, and when it's somebody white against somebody black, if we become like they are when it's somebody white against somebody black, then we ain't doing no better. So that's why I was like, because when it's somebody black, the other race be like, yeah, and it do be worse for us, because when the tables are turned and someone black, for instance, does something against someone white, and not to make it a race, because I don't know if it was any other ethnicities in this in the victims list, but just to bring up being black and being Christian, because when, like I say, I'm at an iffy place, because if he's guilty, but then at the same time that we get so much injustice, so you got to kind of rejoice a little bit, but want to make sure that then I'm not once again becoming the thing that I hate or the thing that I'm speaking against. So you know what I'm saying? So trying to just like make sure we find that stay in that middle of the road, even if it's kind of wide, just make sure we just try and stay in and trying to find it to get there. Because with so much injustice, like I say, man, we might overlook the fact that, he did it to him, but they came to the hotel knowing what was up though. They can't. He didn't even have to do that, because they can't. Like with Mike Tyson, I was thinking Mike Tyson too. He can't. They came knowing what was up though. He took it a step far.
Yeah.
Maybe they got scared or something, but he should have did it. But when they came to that situation, you only come into that situation for that situation. Yeah, but he drugged them though. Yeah, yep. So he guilty, but they came looking. They got more than what they was looking for. So, but that don't make Bill Cosby right. They make it totally wrong. Totally, completely wrong. So, by us rejoicing of him getting justice over the injustice system, some people wouldn't think that means we are okay with him doing what he did, and that is not true.
No, I'm not okay with what he did.
Yeah.
I just think I'm not okay with what he did, but I am okay with the judges saying that the prosecutors didn't do their job right. I'm okay with that. You have a job to do as a prosecutor. You have an oath. And I know that because I just learned it in my business and leadership class last week. That was my homework assignment. So as a lawyer, you have an oath, just like a doctor. So your ethics, that's it, ethics. Your ethics is you are to obey the oath that you have taken. As a prosecutor, you didn't obey your oath. You did not obey the oath that you took. That is just like a doctor. that takes the oath that they do as a doctor, then they go out and do the opposite on a patient. It's the same thing. I'm okay with the judges saying, because you didn't do your job, you weren't ethical when you did your job, this is the price that the victims now are going to have to pay because of what you did. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with what he did. I never was okay with him drugging people, whether they knew or not. I'm not okay with that, but I'm okay with somebody looking and saying, yeah, you didn't do your job right. So because you didn't do your job right, this is the consequences. It's like Tracy said, it's the dark side of justice. And unfortunately, the victims are the ones who have lost out in this because you didn't do your job right. You decided to help. That's like us helping God do his job. You decided to help the justice system do their job, and it backfired.
Right.
Because you actually thought he was going to roll over and play dead, and he didn't do that.
That's a good point. I think that's an excellent point.
So is it possible that, right, and so is it possible for his release to be fair but just?
For his release to be what, Tracy?
It's fair to be fair, but not just.
Right.
Because his release isn't, he's not being released because, oh, he's not guilty.
Right.
What they're saying, what the vacating his sentence says, because of the tricks in the law, not the tricks, the facts of the law.
Yep.
Because it's kind of like where the scriptures talk about the letter killeth. Hey, the law, it is what it is. It is blind. It don't care. It really don't care. If you can afford to make it work, it's gonna work. And fair, all is fair in love and war. Follow the rules and make sure that trials are just and fair. And so it's fair with him. You should have known that was the case.
Yep.
Where I think we'll see if it's fair or not is how people feel if that the lady that was in cahoots with Jeffrey Epstein, who was out gathering girls for him.
Yeah, the girlfriend.
Because Jeffrey Epstein had the same kind of deal. Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein had the same kind of deal in his his plea was if he pled guilty, they're not supposed to prosecute her. So will it fair and will it be justice if she's not charged? I think it's really when one of the idols that I believe America set up. One of the idols that I believe America set up is the law. I believe America worships the law. That does not matter whether or not you're guilty or innocent. It can prove. And if you don't dot your I's and cross your T's, it doesn't matter if you're guilty or not.
Yeah.
Well, that's true too.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's true too. But to answer your question, if that's the plea deal that he made, as much as we may not like it, including with Bill, if that's the plea deal that he made, then it may not be justice, but it'll be fair.
Yeah.
If that's the deal that he made where she's concerned.
Yep.
And that's the thing that I think that the prosecutors are not understanding. If it's a deal that's been made, you may not like it.
Yep.
It may turn your stomach. But if they made that deal, then you're ethnically bound by doing what that deal was. It goes down to your, as a matter of fact, what I learned is it becomes a ethnical dilemma
Uh-huh.
because you are like, yeah, this goes against everything that's on my values, on my core of what I'm to do. Yeah, it does. But what does the law say?
So,
Man, this stuff is real life. I didn't know it was gonna be real
And
life, but hey, I'm learning. I'm sorry, I digress.
it is. And at the end of the day, no, because at the end of the day, what if it just circles back to what we talked about? What if
Yeah, I mean,
Dick Gregory said? The
it's ethics.
prosecutor
I
didn't care
mean,
about Bill going to jail.
yeah. Yeah.
That prosecutor didn't care about Bill going to jail. We want his name sullied because he's not buying this network. We not having that. We
Right.
gave you a president.
yep. And now you think we're gonna let you come in here
a black
because you
vice
had
president.
some good, yes. And you done had some good shows that made some money, that
But
made
what we're
y'all
not
look
going to
good.
have is, yes, what we're not going to do is have this black man that's been on this tirade for the last few years,
Yep.
telling black people better.
Yep.
Oh, we're not going to have Mr. Positive Image out here buying on
Nope.
networks. We're not having that.
Nope.
So what if the
Mm.
whole thing is we just need y'all to not see him as Bill Hug as Cliff Huxtable.
Yep.
We need y'all to see him as this nasty old dude, Bill Cosby, who liked to get women drunk and have his way with them.
Yes. And that was the thing, you know, you took all this stuff away, all the honors or whatever, and I know it's just stuff, but like you said, you have tarnished, you destroyed, you didn't tarnish, you just absolutely destroyed the man's career and name. You did all of that. You did all of that. You did all of that, and then come to find out you ain't played fair anyway. But again, I go with you. I go back to, I still remember what Dick Gregory said. Y'all wasn't gonna let this man buy this network. That was not an option. So what can we do? Go and find the person whose statute of limitations isn't up because everybody else's is. Oh, hers isn't up. We'll use her. And what did she do? She went along with it. I have my own thoughts where she's concerned, but they're my thoughts. And I shared them with my son. And so we had our difference of opinion today on that. And but those are my thoughts that I had on that. And because I told it to my sister when I had the thought, I said, for real? Really? And my sister's like, yeah, I know. That's what I thought too. I said, I'm just saying, that's my thought. And that was my thought. And it still is my thought. But again, why is it that America is so afraid of us wanting to better ourselves and to just have what you have? Just make moves like you make moves. I mean, what is you think we supposed to just keep serving you? We supposed to just keep being your servants and being subservient to you? Is that what it is? Because I'm here to tell you, all them people with the dogs and the hoses and all that, God knew what people to let be alive during that time. Because I probably would have been a Black Panther or with Malcolm. I would have been dead. Because I ain't going to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
I know I ain't going to do all that because I ain't going to let you do that to me now. I'm not going backwards. You may want me to, but I'm not going backwards. But my thing is, what is it that you are so afraid of about us? What is it that you're so afraid of? What is it? And no one has ever been able to answer that question for me. What is it that you're so afraid of about us that you do whatever you can to make sure we can go no higher? I really don't understand that. What is it? What is it? I just, if somebody could just, answer that question for me. Anybody? Somebody? And I don't mean a person that look like me. I want somebody that don't look like me to answer that question. What is it that you're afraid of? Because I can
it's the intersection. It's the interconnection of class and capitalism. There's only so much available out here. Somebody's got to be the top dog, and it's not be you.
Well, I may not be the top dog, but I ain't a thief. I don't steal people's stuff. I don't steal people's stuff from them. We may not be the top dog, but we ain't steal nobody land from them, and we didn't lie to them to steal the land. I mean, I'm just saying. But people don't want to talk about that. Just like people don't want to talk about, and I've asked people, I said, do you know that there are 3 stanzas to that song that y'all sing? No, there isn't. I said, oh, yes, it is. Google it up. Google it. And I want to know, will you sing the third stanza of it? Because you only sing the first 2. And y'all act like it's not a third. I had to become an adult to realize that there is a third stanza that you won't sing. Why? Is it because it talks about the heart of America? It talks about all you people, a lot of you people that say you guys are patriots. It talks about a lot of you people that say, let's make America great again. Yeah, it talks about y'all in that third stanza. Yeah, it does. But I never hear you sing it. Why is that? Why y'all don't sing that third part? Because it tells an ugly truth that America doesn't want to take responsibility and accountability for. That's why. Because you don't want to be held accountable and take responsibility for your actions. But yet, y'all will take accountability and responsibility for other people. I'm still in shock at how fast you all got all of those bills together for the Asian people that were being attacked. But y'all been beating and killing us forever and won't pass a bill. We got to fight with you to pass the George Floyd Act. We got to beg you. We got to march to get that done. But for the Asian people, you pass stuff left and right. And y'all did it on one accord. Y'all didn't even bicker about it. But when it comes to us, you got to fight. You got to bicker. I just, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Okie dokie.
Yep. Yep. So speaking of terrible images.
It froze up.
I heard this
Tracy froze. She
about
said, speaking of, and that's all I heard. What is we talking about next?
The passing of Donald Rumsfeld.
Huh?
Yeah. Mr. Donald Rumsfeld succumbed to multiple myeloma, whatever that is, at the age of 88. And for those of you who may not be old enough to remember, he was President Young Bush's head of the Pentagon. He was Mr. Shock and Awe. We're going to drop all the bombs on the Middle East.
Oh, yeah, he sure was.
To me, a human representation of Satan. I'm sorry. I don't like calling
Yeah,
people
he
the devil,
was. He
but
was.
I think he was about as close as you could get. Just the joy that he had. If we can have war, we were gonna have it, and it was gonna be magnificent.
Yeah,
And
I
it was a real
remember
turning
that.
point for me because at the time I belonged to a church that was very heavily uh, conservative Republican. And I remember we were having prayer the night of that big shock and awe campaign. And it was the first time in my time in that church when I remember feeling like we're having prayer, but I'm not sure we're all praying for the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were praying, for these bombs to, they were excited about it. And all I saw was a lot of dead people who probably didn't know the Lord. And it disturbed me how excited people were about the killing of those people.
I gotta go. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you for hanging out.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm still tuned in though.
Bye, brother.
Okay. See you, bro. And I just found that really, I thought it was interesting to know we've lost Mr. Ronald. He's gone on to his eternal. I don't know what his standing was with the Lord. I pray that he was hidden in Christ.
Oh yeah, I remember him. He was in that movie that did you hear me watch on Hulu? Yeah, he was something else.
Mhm.
He was a hot
Yep.
mess.
Yes, he was. Very much so.
Hey, Princess Demetria.
So the yes. So
Hey,
the other thing I wanted to talk about.
did you hear about Bishop Murphy?
No.
Girl, the people broke in his house and the lady was in the bathtub taking a bath.
Wait, huh? Bishop William Murphy?
Yes. Yes, you gotta
Wow.
go back and watch the live that he did last night. I went because I thought he was talking about, a church event. But I don't mean to cut you off, but it's funny. It's funny, but not funny. His alarm kept going off at the house, and the people kept calling him and asking him if anybody, was at the house, and he said no, and he thought it was this, that, and the other. Well, when he finally got to the house, and I'm not saying nothing that Bishop didn't say, but Bishop was packing. I just want y'all to know, Bishop had his stuff with him.
Amen.
And I'm not saying
Bless
nothing
the
that
Lord.
Bishop didn't say, because Bishop said it. He said, I had my I think he said gun or piece, whatever he said. He said, I had it in. He said, and I was clearing the floor like I was SWAT. He said, and I was letting people know, if you're in here, I got a gun and I'm gonna shoot you. He said, I cleared every he said, I cleared the first floor. I cleared the second floor. He said, but anyway, they stole he got expensive jerseys, clothes, shoes. They stole some of his stuff. I think they might have stole some of his daughter's stuff, but they left it in the heap. And what was funny was what he said. He said this woman was in the master bathroom and she was taking a bubble bath. He said,
Wow.
she was taking a bath. I said, wait. I said, wait. He said, he said, she wasn't by herself. He said, they came and got, whoever was with them, with her, stole the stuff and left. He said, that's her right there. He said, that's her car they're towing. That's her, yeah, right there in the police car. He said, she was taking a bath.
Wow.
He said, so I told the person, if you come out, I'm going to shoot you. He said, so he called 911. Now he was first called the police, and the police had not showed up when he got there. So he had to call 911 himself and tell them what happened. He said he didn't know what was wrong with the lady. He didn't know if she had mental problems. He didn't know what was wrong because she kept telling the people that her son bought her this house.
Wow.
Her son bought her this house. And he said, I thank God I didn't have to shoot nobody. He said, because, devils. He said, them demons. He said, they are something else. He said, they'll kill you. He said, and I wasn't about to fight no demon. He said, and I really didn't want to have to kill nobody. But it wasn't funny. The part that was amusing was because Bishop kept going back to that part. He was like, she was taking a bath.
That is much. That is definitely much.
And then he kept saying, y'all not praying for me. He said, y'all can't be praying for me. Y'all not praying for me. He said, the woman was in the master bathroom taking a bath. I said, Jesus.
Yeah, that is much.
Yeah, and I was trying to process it with him. I was like, she literally was taking back. So anyway, the police asked him if he wanted the robe and stuff that she had on, because she had on a robe and a jersey. He was like, no.
I'm good on that.
I think he just let her go. He just let her go because he was still. Oh, and it's the last thing. Then we go to the other topic. Girl, they stole the security panel. They stole the security panel. And he was like, what are you going to do with the security panel? He said, but I'm finna call ADT and change all the codes. He said, but yep, they stole the security panel too. I said, wow.
Wow.
I said,
Wow.
I guess I'm just in shock about the fact that she was taking a bath.
That is crazy.
Very much so. Crazy.
That is real crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. But it's gotta be really weird, being a celebrity and being in a situation like that. I mean, just for a regular person, that's a weird situation to be in.
Yes.
But it's gotta be weird, being a celebrity and wondering, like, if they knew whose home they were breaking into. Like, that just has to feel weird. I don't know if you've ever been involved in a home invasion, but I remember.
Yeah, I have.
When we were young. Yeah, when I was not little, but younger, I was a teenager. Our home got broken into. And it was just icky.
It's a weird feeling. Yes.
Trying to, like, live in a house that had been somebody who wasn't invited in made their way in. It was just odd. And so it was really strange. And so, wow, I didn't hear about that. I will definitely be praying.
It's not that long. It was like 9 minutes.
Recover. Yeah, that they recovered.
9.5 minutes, I think it was, because he's the only one there. His wife, his daughter, his son, nobody's there. He's the only one there now. So I took it. The rest of the family was out of town. And so he's like, I'm the only one here. And he was like, and you could see it on his face that he's trying to process this. And it's exactly what you said. You can see on his face that he's like, and this is the home they just moved in. That's what got me was, I'm like, they just moved in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, they haven't even been there that long. And he was like, they broke a window. He's like, but I'm trying to figure out how they got in. How did they get in? How? Girl, right.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, that is weird. That is unfortunate. I hate to hear that.
I pray for him though.
Yeah.
What was the other story though?
But Yeah. No, I mean, thinking about celebrities, and I watched portions of the BET Awards because I wanted to see what they
Oh, they
did.
had them already?
I
Oh, I
wanted
missed
to
them.
see, yeah, I wanted to see Queen Latifah was receiving an award, and I
No.
remember, I remember really, I won't say I was a fan of her music, but
I
I
was.
remember enjoying, her music when it was out,
I
and I
did. I
couldn't
liked it.
remember a lot of her music, and so
Ooh,
I was
I
like, I wonder
could.
like who they're going to get to perform, and whenever there's any of those kind of awards and tributes, I always enjoy things like that,
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go
and
back.
so
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it then.
yeah, and so I was passing through the room. I was kind of in and out because I was working on some other stuff that night, and
Come on,
it's
baby.
really black entertainment period has gotten to a real creepy, uh fleshy, disgusting place for
Oh
me.
no.
And so it's hard. It's hard to it like there was a time I remember being able to just sit down and watch a whole broadcast of like a BT Awards or Grammys or something like that. And I know that personally my sensitivities have changed a lot. But when I'm looking at some of this stuff, it's like I don't even think you have to be a minister to be bothered by some of the stuff that is being displayed as entertainment. It was just much
It's
for me.
raunchy.
It was just
Raunchy.
much. It was just much. I think it's beyond raunchy. It's
Oh
almost
Lord.
nasty.
If it's a got beyond raunchy. Ooh.
I mean,
Well,
it's
I'll
just
be fast
I
forwarding
don't
through.
know. And I mean, I know that I'm not their audience. So I'm not gonna slam them because clearly they have an audience. Somebody watched it. Somebody went and somebody watched, all of it. And there's not there's there's just some interest. It's really interesting. But yeah, she received an award, and they did a couple. I think there were like a couple of her songs that they did that were really interesting. But for me, Latifah's more of an actress than a rapper. I know the rap is how she started, but I like the show she does, The Equalizer. I've seen a little bit of that, and I really enjoy it. Her movies have made me laugh. Um, Set It Off is gonna be iconic forever and ever and ever.
Forever. Forever and
Um,
ever.
yeah,
Yeah, I
and
did.
so,
I guess I was. I was a girl that loved her rap. I did. Oh, I loved
uh-huh.
her rap. And I think UNITY was my favorite one that she did.
Mm-hmm.
I just and what was that the one that she talked about? What was the other one where she talked about Queens? I loved her I did. I loved her music because she wasn't doing a lot of cussing. But then the people that I listened to back then weren't doing a lot of cussing. Salt and Pepper didn't cuss a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Michelle A, that she didn't cuss a lot. Um, Missy Elliott didn't really do a whole bunch of. She didn't really do a lot of cussing back. They were just. They didn't do a lot of that. But when I look at what they had, what this generation, the generations after me, what they have for rap, it's like, yeah, we didn't. I'm like, we didn't have. I think the one that Ice Cube was in was the one I think was that. Yeah, that's when they started changing. Was NWA. That's when I realized there was a change that came with them and Easy E, and
Yeah.
there was they kind of started going left a little
Yeah.
more,
Yeah. See,
but
those were my good and ratchet days. I loved NWA.
oh no, I loved NWA, but I'm just saying for me that is when I could tell the rap was changing
Mm-hmm.
because right behind them was coming your Tupacs and your Biggie And I did like them. But when I mention people like, Big Daddy Kane and Kumo D and Rappers Delight, people be looking like, what you talking about? Oh, okay, I guess y'all don't know nothing about that. And, I like that stuff. Or the Sugar Hill Gang, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that with Queen to see what they gave Queen Latifah. I think she's overdue for a lot of things.
Yeah, she received her award, and it's just really interesting. I just realized that what I've had to come to grips with is that my issue is the content more than anything. Because at first I thought my issue was, like the rappers and the singers now all kind of mumble, and I thought that was the issue. And it's like, that's not really the issue, because one of my favorite worship leaders, Todd Delaney,
mumbles.
Sometimes mumbles.
Mm-hmm.
He will sing without really opening his mouth, and it's awesome. So I was like, nah, it's not that. And the songs that you really can't hear is really interesting, because I used to believe that like artists like Cardi B, I used to find her funny. I used to think she was a caricature, and I just thought she was funny. But then I heard the lyrics. I heard a lyric in a song from something I watched on TikTok, and I'm like, wait, she said what? And I was like, she ain't even funny no more to me. I don't hear nothing she gotta say. Nothing. I don't care what she talking about. I don't want to hear it, because I was scarred forever and ever. Ever and ever. Ever and ever and ever. I don't ever want.
Yeah.
I don't want her nothing you got to say. And it's unfortunate, because a lot of times I will check people out, especially if they're people who, because there's some people, the person, not just the performer, but the person will kind of stick to me for some reason, and so I just add them to my prayer agenda. There's a few celebrities that are like that for me, that they're a part of my regular prayer when I pray for people in Hollywood, people who are in influence, people who have access to the ears and hearts of our young people. And I pray for them all the time. And she's not one who's come off my prayer agenda. I just don't have to listen to nothing she got to say, because I'm gonna hear that line forever and ever. And I just have never liked a song that like you see parents listen to with their kids. Like, I remember some of the love songs even that were big back when R&B was really the thing.
Yep.
And I'm like, I wouldn't listen to that music with my mama.
I ain't listening to it with my mama.
And
or my sister.
You'll see videos where there's really little kids. And I know they're saying, this, well, she doesn't understand. She don't know the song. She just be, and I'm like, no, these little babies know these lyrics. I'm sorry.
They know the lyrics, because
and it's literally one of the things that I would love to do, is to get some time with some parents whose young kids are really steeped in this music, and just spend some time with them and say, will you listen to this so you can hear what they're saying? And I know they let you hear the clean version.
I need you to hear the unclean version.
But I need you to hear what they say. And even if you don't hear it, here's the lyrics here's a sheet of paper for you.
Read the lyrics.
But just read this right here. And
read it.
Let's see if you still feel as okay about it. And I know that, as an old person, what's appealing to me is different than what's appealing to a young person. But it's just like, I don't know. I think it's okay to just ask people to do a little better, but things have gone so far to the left.
You're right. They are. They have.
Yeah.
They
prude
are.
If you say something about it, but I'm okay with being a prude on some things. I'm okay. Yeah. I'm okay. But yeah. But the final thing I wanted to talk about Yes. Yeah.
I heard
But
it.
the final thing I'm excited about, I'm so looking forward to the Olympics. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love
Come
it. I love it. I
on.
love it. I love them because
And
they
the girl that
are,
ran the
I
track.
love, yes, I love to hear the stories behind the athletes because then I push for them even more. And when that young lady won her race and went and laid on her grandmama, I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know what her story is, but I'm gonna be rooting for her till the Lord come. Cause that I mean that blessed my
She
heart
did. She took off for that
so much.
run. I was like, where's she going? Then they said, I said, oh, she going to grandma.
Girl, and I mean the way she laid on her, I was like, this baby love her grandmama. And when she came back down to tell her story, I know that there were some people who were, utterly offended about her saying that her girlfriend helped her pick out the hair she had on. But
Oh,
I
did she? I
love
didn't
to
hear that part. I mean, it
yeah,
didn't bother me. I didn't even
yeah.
hear that part. I had turned off, I think.
Here's the thing. I know a bunch of these girls out here got girlfriends, and a bunch of these boys out here got boyfriends. And I still think that there is something to be said though when people do something exceptional.
She did something
And
exceptional. She
the way that
won.
baby ran that race, I'm like,
She
I,
won. You know, she won. I don't know where the commentator was from. I guess he was from London, or I don't know. He had an accent. I don't know where he was from. I could tell
mhm.
he was black though, and he was like, "Well, she's
Lewis,
gonna have to do better than that when she goes over to Tokyo. She's got to be able
yeah,
to take off like that." And I'm like, "You can say whatever you want to say, but if God has opened this door for her because of some prayers her grandmother done prayed years ago, then she's going to win it. Whether she
yeah.
take off right like you say she need to take off, she's going to win it. And I think of Michael
Well,
Phelps.
and I don't know that I agree. I agree that the Lord is opening doors for her, but she's got to technically run the race to win it. And that
That's true.
I believe the Lord opens doors for us, but I don't believe he like gives us advantages in athletic opportunities. And so I think she has to listen to things like that. There's some things she got to tighten up. But where I was concerned more was just the way that people are like, oh, look at her lashes. Ah, look at her nails. Look at your kids' lashes and nails.
But Flojo was the same way. I don't know if Gail Devers Flojo and Gail Devers
Uh-huh.
had long nails.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if they had the lashes or not. But I know both of them had nails because I would be excited. I'd be like, no, how they gonna run with them nails? But they would run.
Look, the nails, the hair, the everything. And it made me, the thing that I love about it was it really, I was so happy as a Black woman watching that girl run around that track in that wig and killing, because Black women catch so much flack about our looks.
She did that thing though.
But Black women are some of the most amazing things. I mean, we have an ability to, we can switch it up. We can do the wigs, we can do the weaves, we can do the braids, we can do the nothings, we can do it all. And I think that that's envied by people, and I think people don't know how to handle it. I'm 100%
her and all.
yeah. But that baby, she did that, and so whatever she's got to do at that next level, I pray that she, makes whatever correction she needs to make. She's got a good coach. I remember her coach when he ran, Dennis Mitchell. I remember him as a runner. And I'm like, I got really
heard the name before.
that story. Yeah. And so when she talked about losing her birth mom, and I saw the reporter wanting to really push her on that. And I love her pushback, which was, Yeah, but that's another story. That's a story for another day. Today I'm happy. Today I'm celebrating. And I was like, that is so wonderful. Because it was another thing, kind of like the Naomi Osaka situation, where you're not going to tell these young girls how to do what they do.
Nope.
I
And I
don't
like
wanna
her
go to
for saying
Wimbledon.
that. I like her for saying that too. I
Yeah,
like the tennis girl. I like her.
yeah.
Because I think that's when I jumped back on, because I was back in the room and I
Uh-huh.
heard her say, and I was like, well, what did you ask her to make her say that that's a story for another time? I'm like, what did you say?
Yeah,
So that's what they did. Okay. Because I was
they
like, well, what
repeated.
did you say to make her say that?
Right. Excuse me. She mentioned that
Bless
she
you.
had lost her birth mom, and she kind of moved right past it in a way that let you know I ain't stopping there. I mentioned that because her point was people don't understand what I deal with.
Right.
People don't know what I'm going through, and I don't let it affect how I do what I do. And the reporter kind of wanted to, well, now hold on, wait, you said you lost your mama? She was like, yeah, that's a story for another day. Today, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love that. These young girls are just, they're not having it. They're not having it. You're not gonna play me to get the story the way you want it. We're gonna talk about me. We're gonna talk about my grandmama. We're gonna talk about this great race. We're gonna talk about all of that. Um, the other part that blew me away was Justin Gatlin is still out here running. That man is 39 years old, and he's still out here sprinting.
Oh, I didn't see the sprint. I only wanted to see her.
Yeah,
I think because I didn't know anything about sprinters, but I knew about her, and I hadn't seen her run, so I actually wanted to see her run. I was like, "Oh, girl, yeah, you remind me of FloJo and Gail Devers. Yeah, you do.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
you do.
She's bringing that thing, and she's short. I was like, yes, run, short girl, run.
I won.
Most of these track girls are tall, and she's short. She's a short thing. I was like, get it, girl.
And it was all, and that was the other thing I like too. It's all black.
It was all black girls
that won the races.
Yeah.
I said, look at y'all.
That was wonderful. It was so cool.
I said, you even beat out the girl that they were showing was gonna win because she had been there before and she came in 4th place. I said, y'all better do it.
Yeah, that's it. That was I was like, this is so cool. And it's like just over and over, just seeing these young black people doing great things just blew me away. Will Young and Justin Gatlin, because he almost 40. That's crazy to me. But
yeah, but you got to think about
him being able to keep up is just phenomenal to me.
Yeah, but you know what? I ain't gonna sleep on it now because after watching what was that 2008 when Michael Phelps and where were they at? Were they in London? Is that where the last in 08? Wherever they were in 08, I can't remember. But on their team, they had the older guy that was 36, and they didn't think he was gonna be able to bring in that anchor, and brought it in and won. After that, I said, you know what? I ain't gonna be sleeping on these old people no more.
After watching him run and come in 2nd place, and the only person that beat him was somebody super phenomenal in that heat, and I was like, are you serious? This is crazy.
I had to learn that.
This is crazy.
Because I used to think that too. Because I was like, oh, they too old to be out there.
Oh no.
But when I saw him do that, I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't say that no more about old people.
No.
Because I don't know. I don't know what they got going on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah. And so there was another younger lady in swimming. Manuel is her name.
Yeah, I saw her.
Simone Manuel. That was phenomenal to me.
She made the team, right?
Yeah, she made it. The race that she had to win in order to qualify, she won. And what
Because
I
I missed
love
her.
that,
I missed her.
yeah, and when they came to talk to her just going back to having to rely on her faith to get through some difficult times, because she actually ended up overtraining, and it ended up taking such a toll on her body that her doctors required her to sit still for a period of weeks. And so
Wow.
for her to be able to come back from that, and just listening to her talk about how it was totally about relying on my faith, doing what I got to do in the natural, but, just relying on my faith. That's what kept me encouraged. That's what, helped pull me up out of depression, and seeing their love and support for her. It was so cool. It was so cool. And then there
Awesome.
was, yeah, and there was one of the track guys who kept talking about, I just want to give glory to God. I just want to give glory to God, because without him, I wouldn't be here. Without him, I couldn't do none of this. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. When you get through that open door, you give him glory. You give glory to the one that is due. And I love, because the possibility is there may be some young person who's on the verge of thinking that they have to do something worldly, that thinks they have to give up on their faith to be popular, or to be something. They're willing to give up what they believe in order to gain something. And these people getting the opportunity to be on these big stages, I think really, really does help our young people know you don't have to sell out to be successful. You
Nope.
you can
Do
still
what you do.
you can honor God and be successful. So I'm really looking forward to it. Simone Biles was here this weekend with her bad self. I can't wait to see what she does.
Yes, I was like, I didn't know she was dating old boy from St. Louis, because I followed him for a moment
Mm-hmm.
uh in his football career.
Uh-huh.
I said, I said, when did y'all get together? I thought she was
Oh,
with the other dude. I
oh
said,
wow.
oh.
Oh wow.
So
Is it somebody famous?
he plays for the Texans.
Oh wow. Okay, go.
What's that boy's name? Drawing a blank, because I was surprised when I saw it.
Uh-huh.
Because I was trying to figure out where he had went to, and
Mhm.
I didn't realize it was the Texans that he had went to, and I was like, what? Jonathan Owens II. That's it. I don't know. I should never
Ah.
forget that Owens name because of the other Owens dude. But yes, I did not know that they were dating. I was like, what? I was like, and you in Texas? When did you go there? But he came home to support her over the
Oh,
weekend.
good.
Yeah, he came home
Yeah,
over the
I was.
weekend
Look, my nerves were
to
bad when
support
they said they
her.
were
And
taking her to. They were feeding her. They ate emos. I was like, oh Lord, please don't kill them.
yes, he came home to support her, and he talked about how he finally got to see her live
Mm-hmm.
and perform, and he was just amazed at
Yeah,
she who she is. Yeah, the girl is
she's
bad.
cold.
At 24, the
Yes,
girl is bad.
yes, she's cold.
I
Yes,
said she's
she is
24 and
cold.
she's still doing that good. I said she reminded me of what's a little short little skater I used to like, Dorothy Hamill, because she went longer than people thought that she would go because of her
Yeah,
age. But that little short mama could skate. I'd be like, oh
yes,
man. And that's who Simone reminds me of. It doesn't matter about the age. If you got it, you got it. And
yes, indeed.
he talked about he talked about how he didn't know what else to do for her last year when the Olympics got canceled. He
Mm.
didn't really understand. He thought it was no big deal. But after this weekend, he realized
Uh,
that it is a big deal. But he said all he could do was just encourage her, to keep the faith,
mm.
you got it or whatever. And I was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody to understand.
Yes,
Somebody understands that she done worked all year
yes,
and now she can't go nowhere with it. because of the pandemic. So I think he said he was going to travel to Tokyo with her.
That's cool. That is very
I
beautiful.
think.
I love it.
But yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I was wait, what? I was like, how y'all? What? I was like, okay. I was like, okay, girl.
Yeah.
With her little short self, cause she's short too, but that girl come. And that was the other thing they said he mentioned when they interviewed him on whatever day it was. I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday. That was the other thing that he talked about. He said she goes so high. I said, don't she though? I said that little short thing, that little short girl, that little short young lady. I said, is she ever gonna come down? And I had to actually go back and watch it on YouTube. And I kept looking. I said, well, is she ever gonna come down? Is she ever gonna come down? I said, she goes so high.
Yes.
I said, I can't
It's
imagine.
phenomenal. Yeah.
So I said,
it's
so I
phenomenal.
hope y'all be able to catch the Olympics this time. Because I think the last time I
loved
watched was, I don't know, maybe when they went to Rio and Michael was trying to end his career in Rio with getting, and he got all them. I think that's the last time I watched was when they went to Rio.
Yeah, those were the last. Yeah, those were the last.
Okay, so that's the last time I watched, and I think the last time we watched the Winter Olympics probably was, what do they call that boy? They call him the Red Tomato, but that's not his name. Oh gosh, he's good though. He is good. I can't think of his name right now on the snowboarding, but I think the last time that he went was the last time I watched the Winter Olympics.
Oh, Shaun White.
Shaun White, that's it. Boy, Trey got me hooked on Shaun White. But I think that's the last time I even watched the Winter Olympics. Was the last time that he did his stuff. Was the last time I watched the Winter Olympics. I stopped after that. Is Venus? I mean, not Venus.
Yeah,
Serena's not going to Tokyo, right? Serena made the choice not to go because of her baby girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think she's going. Yeah, I don't think she's going. But I'm looking for. It's funny, during the Olympics, I will watch sports that I don't even watch, like in real life. In real life, and during the Olympics, I'll watch curling during the Winter Olympics.
Yeah,
I don't ask to watch curling.
Yeah. Nope.
Tomorrow.
I mean, that's the only time I watched it.
Right.
That's the only time I watched it.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. I think the opening ceremony is the 23rd. So that should be super interesting. So
how long does it go? To August?
Don't know.
I think that's to August.
That I don't know.
I thought it said it went through August or whatever.
I know. Because I remember JCPenney used to be the place. And I remember JCPenney used to be the place where they Olympics fashions. And my cousin Jewel would always take me to get these outfits. And I remember, especially during the summer that they were in LA and going to JCPenney, I had all these different Olympics inspired outfits. It was wonderful. But I'm just a junkie because I love the stories. I love how we get here. I love. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope that it produces a lot of things to talk well about. But I am about to go.
All right. Yeah, it goes from August 23rd. I mean, July 23rd to August 8th.
Yes. So that's cool. On my birthday. Looking forward. Bringing the conversation full circle back to Barbara Williams. So I guess it is we're an hour longer than I thought we'd be on because we got started so late. But I am going to how Hi, David
Oh,
Weathers. I'm not quite sure
y'all not gonna let
if
y'all
he's
not gonna
talking
let
to you
LeBron go to the
or
Olympics?
I don't think he wanted to go. I'm not quite sure who David Weathers is, but
My daughter just handed me
I'm
her
so
phone and
excited.
said I have a Facebook account now. She said I have to watch you. Okay, I don't know who that is, but okay, cool.
Praise the Lord. I probably do. I probably do, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's what they say. LeBron James's
Okay.
Olympic career likely over, according to Team USA's Jerry, whatever his name is.
Yes. All right. Well, praise the Lord, David Weathers. But yeah, we are about to close out. It's been a fun time. I want to extend thank you to Pastor Demetrius Whitehead, who hung out with us for a while. My son, who usually checks in with us, had to be in the comments tonight because he was doing some rehearsing. Just finished some fantastic shows that I had to hear about. You know, I'm still recuperating, but he's just finished some fantastic shows and got some projects coming up. Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. It's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait to
Oh,
hear.
y'all got
But yes, so that is coming up for him. I know we've got some stuff that we'll be talking about on church check-ins coming up pretty soon. I think I'm going to do those every other week. I think I'm going to do this one every other week and that one every other week and alternate. Because I think the church check-in is extremely necessary given where we are right now. I think we are a pivotal moment in the church. And so you can find our church check-ins on our Christ is Our Culture page. I know Prophet Sonia has some things coming up with War Room Women's uh, War Room Worldwide Prayer Ministry that we're going to be talking about as well. We'll talk about that over there and over here because we can. In the words of my sister Tabitha, it's business.
yeah. Well, all right now.
Look, because we can. So we'll be talking about that. Pastor Demetrius, Pastor Demetrius Disciple Maker Whitehead. You need to follow him on Facebook because he'll drop a bomb at 11:30 in the morning on social media that'll have you hollering. The man has a word for where we are right now. He's an end times prophet, I'll say.
Amen.
You need to hear what the Lord is saying through him because we got to be prepared to stand a lot of the comedy that's being played in church right now. We're not being prepared for the end times. We're not being prepared to endure. If a mask took you down, you ain't ready. If you believe this COVID vaccine is the mark of the beast, you ain't ready to endure. So you need some help,
Mm.
and I
It's the
recommend.
mark of the beast. I ain't heard that one.
Oh yes, ma'am. And
Oh well,
so,
I guess I done took the mark of the beast then.
girl, I've never seen so much concern about the flesh when we know no flesh is going to inhabit the kingdom.
None.
People are so worried about where we are not that they're missing where we are. And we're trying to turn stuff into something that it's not. It's not that yet. But we're on our way. Things are lining up. And you need someone who understands these times. And because you need to be trying to understand them yourself. And I highly recommend my brother, Pastor Demetrius Disciple Maker Whitehead.
Me
Um,
too.
he's going to be faithful to teach because he asked the Lord for a day and he's faithful to it. I'll hit and miss previously. July 1st is the start of tonight, actually. I will be starting up my midnight oil broadcast again. I tried to start 2 days ago, and it wasn't when I was supposed to start. I'm never to start anything in June. Never, ever, 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 ever. And I was just trying to get ahead of things and get started. And I ended up deleting the broadcast. But tonight, probably about 11:50, you can join me on Christ is Our Culture. We'll be looking at the Abraham covenant, the law that was what it is that the Lord promised that He was going to be doing for Abraham, what that means for us today. So we're going to be looking at that. You can stop by War Room's Facebook page and group. A lot of things happening there. But on that note, as I told you at the beginning, I had a wonderful time with my mom, Barbara, today.
Awesome.
Check in on your people. Check in on your family. It's hot. Check on your seniors. Check on your people that have got health concerns. Check on people you haven't heard from in a while.
Yes, yes.
From you. Even if they don't want to get together with you and go nowhere and do nothing because COVID. I don't want Delta. Alpha, Beta, Delta, Epsilon. I don't want none of them. Whatever COVID they got, I don't want none. So I ain't trying to tell you to go see nobody. But what I am saying is check on your people and see how they're doing. Check on your pastor. Tomorrow is the 1st. Today is the 1st, actually. We'll be fasting sun up, sundown, and praying for leaders. So be in prayer for ministry leaders, pastors, fivefold, especially celebrity pastors. I know we shouldn't. We say there's no celebrities in the kingdom, and that is true. Christ is the king, but we've got some people that are well known, and we need to pray for these people that are out here because the world would love to see them come down. The world would love to see them compromise, and compromise is happening too much in the church right now. So lift up ministry leaders, pastors, church administrators. Be praying for them. The people that are close to your pastor, you better be praying for them. I know you don't like calling them leaders, but they're leaders because they have access. They have the ear and time of your pastor. You need to be praying for them. When we see affairs happening in ministries, many times it's that person that was working, and I say person because man and woman, it's that person that's working closest with that leader that there's sometimes there's that emotional connection that ends up turning into something even more inappropriate. So pray for your leaders. Pray for the people that you get a word from. If you get a word from them, you can fast. Something doesn't have to be food. You'll probably grow more if it's not food. If it's something else, you'll probably grow a little more. Because missing a meal is easy to do. You can get busy and miss a meal. But purposing to stay off social media, unless you have ministry on social media, purposing to not sit in front of your TV, play on your phone. Those are the things. And purpose to spend time in the Word. Those are things that can be done. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here because I need to eat some before the sun come up.
Well, I've already started my journey.
So y'all pray for your girl because
we'll be praying.
I am I'm excited about what the Lord is doing.
All right.
And that's all I got to say about that.
All right then.
Talk to you all later. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And peace and chicken grease. Till next time.
Just gonna put my head down.
Don't stop by Bill's house for no drink. See you later.